Aloha, Hawaii. I wanted to give you several updates on the state of the crisis on Maui. I've just returned. We were there for several hours today. People are doing okay, but this is the largest natural disaster in our history. As of this moment, 93 individuals have perished, and we know that the teams are in an ongoing fashion discovering other tragedies. Now, this fire began on the 8th, late on Tuesday, and what the result was this, the destruction of Lahaina. And when I say destruction, having been at ground zero twice, there is very little left there. Now, what does that mean? That means that over 2,700 structures were destroyed in Lahaina, and an estimated value of $5.6 billion has gone away. But mostly there are people are suffering, and we continue to work to find them. The response has been comprehensive in the last several days. And when I say comprehensive, I mean we are bringing the full force of government to try to do all we can to alleviate suffering. Let me describe what the response is from the federal partnership that we have. The main agency is FEMA. FEMA comes and helps with natural disasters. As of this moment, there are 416 personnel from FEMA in the state of Hawaii, including the administrator, the top dog, Deanne. She's been wonderful. We've had a lot of time to discuss how we will ultimately rebuild Lahaina and support Maui. We're honored to have had the support of the president. When I asked for the declaration in the wee hours of the morning, just after midnight on Wednesday, just 6 hours and 10 minutes later, the president agreed and authorized the full force of the federal government in support of us. That's why we have these personnel. Let me tell you a little bit about the FEMA team. For example, right now, we need to help find those who have perished, and it's ongoing. There are currently 35 additional people coming with their team from the Urban Search and Rescue Division. In addition to that group of men and women, we'll have 20 dogs that can go and find the tragic sites where people have perished. I will tell you this, as a physician, it is a harrowing sight in Maui. When those providers, the police and this division do come across scenes in houses or businesses, it is very difficult for them because they know ultimately they will be sharing with our people that there have been more fatalities. I do expect the numbers to rise. In addition to FEMA and the Urban Search and Rescue Team, we also have several other agencies. The Small Business Administration, they'll be providing significant loans to our businesses going forward. If someone's been involved in the crisis, they should call FEMA right now. 1-800-621-3362. 1-800-621-3362. It's very important because there will be grants for people. There'll be loans available for people that have struggled and suffered. There ultimately will be rent subsidies. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is already beginning to view this site not just as a disaster, but as a long-term recovery. They will be helping us in partnership with active military and our reserves and all of our partners. They will be active in the deconstructing of the disaster area, and we'll have to remove the debris. In addition to that, HHS, that is the National Health System Organization. HHS is helping us with mortuary services, as have many volunteer organizations like the dental community across our state who can help identify the tragic remains of our lost loved ones. The EPA is here. They are working on the environmental considerations of this disaster. There are a lot of heavy metals and other toxins in the dust, in the debris, in Lahaina. It's very important because this is part of our recovery also. Eventually we will rebuild, but until that debris is cleared, until all the toxic waste is out of there, it's going to be very difficult. The Department of Defense is another partner that we have. We have designated, of course, General Hara, who is our current Adjutant General, as our command leader, our incident commander. But in addition to that, we needed support from active military duty, and for purposes of organization, we've activated a second general. That general will be leading both the active duty officials that are here, in large measure to keep things safe on Maui. This is General Logan. So General Logan is overseeing that operation, and you will see hundreds of military officials and personnel on Maui protecting roads, making sure things are okay, so that the people who are doing recovery are in a space where they can do their work and we can go back to a more normal life in some of that area, driving across the roads as recovery is delivered. Let me talk about the American Red Cross for a moment. They've been extraordinary, flying in dozens and dozens of volunteers. Some came from Maui initially, others have come from all over the state. They've helped us with shelters. They've helped us organize a lot of our programs, and they're caring for thousands of individuals on Maui. We thank them and the other nonprofits for protecting our people, those who have survived. A hotel program has been stood up, an emergency housing program by our government, by our team here out of my office. We have a large coalition of people that are putting houses together. In this case, these are hotel rooms. We have over 500 hotel rooms, which will be available to people who have been victims of this terrible fire. We'll also have additional hotel rooms for first responders, so that they'll be able to respond and retreat to a hotel room safely. There'll be no cost to individuals that go into this program, and ultimately FEMA will be very supportive of the cost going forward as well. Long-term housing is also being established as part of this task force, and that is FEMA's primary goal, to get people sheltered and made safe as they deal with these other challenges. So that's going into effect in just a few hours. Some of the first individuals will go into hotels today, and then large numbers tomorrow and the days subsequent to that. There's another program that we'll be initiating, and this is with the Airbnb industry. Airbnb is going to offer us hundreds of typically short-term rentals in a longer-term capacity, so we can put people into a place for months. There will be subsidies, of course. People will get housing subsidies almost comprehensively if they've been displaced, but the state will also work hard to pick up additional costs for those who may not fall properly into the program. There are going to be some individuals who have come from other parts of our Pacific region who we care for, who are parts of our ohana, and they will also need to be housed. Many of these individuals are local workers, so we want them to work there carefully. I want to say this to everyone. There's a lot to share. There's a lot of information that people want, and to that end, I've authorized a comprehensive review of what happened in the early hours of the fire and the hours thereafter. We will build back together. We will find out what we could have done to prevent such loss of life to the best of our ability. As of now, the best information we have is that in those hours when the fire sparked, there were several fires across Maui. One fire was deemed to be out. It must not have been completely extinguished, because when the winds rose up, winds gusting as high as 81 miles per hour, fire spread rapidly. We believe between 60 miles per hour and 81 miles per hour across that part of the island. And that meant that fire traveled 1 mile every minute, resulting in this tragedy. With those kind of winds and 1,000-degree temperatures, ultimately all the pictures that you will see will be easy to understand, because that level of destruction in a fire hurricane, something new to us in this age of global warming, was the ultimate reason that so many people perished. We're going to continue to rebuild, like I said, with all of these partners, and there's many more to mention. I would be remiss if I didn't thank everyone for their generosity. People should continue to support this mission, especially giving resources through the Hawaii Community Foundation or the other excellent allied agencies that are accepting monetary donations. At the moment, it's difficult to accept extra food or water products unless they're shipped directly to Maui. Some of that coordinated effort is going on, and we appreciate it in every way. But for the moment, monetary donations, which then can be used to buy services and buy food and water on the island, makes it a little bit easier. Again, thank you for your compassion, for your aloha for all of our people. Thank you for understanding that this is a big mission which will go on for many months and years. I'll address you more completely in the coming days and weeks, but this is meant to provide you with an update on what's going on here on Sunday, the 13th of August. Aloha.